On the 24th of April 2024, Wizkid posted a video of Davido crying and begging in response to a fan.
Please.
The result was an ugly Twitter battle that makes you wonder how these two musical giants became enemies in the first place. To understand the full story, let's go back to the very beginning. It's 2010, and there's a new name on the street, a 5'4" tall teenager, who just came out with a song that's got everyone absolutely hooked. His stage name, Wizkid, and he seemed like he had something special. Fast forward to 2011, and there's another name on the streets, Davido. A different kind of talent with a more raw approach to music, he took over the airwaves with the release of his hit single Dami Duro. But there was more to come. If anyone had told you back in the days that these two new artists would become the face of Nigerian music, you would probably dismiss such claims, and well, they went on to do exactly that. From 2011, they absolutely dominated the Nigerian music scene with hit after hit. This got them famous, and I mean crazy famous. But you know what else it got them? Die-hard fans that absolutely adored them. In the years after their breakthrough, they seemed to follow a similar trajectory of fame, yet they were so different. Wizkid, on one hand, was the king of vocals, plus he knew how to combine his vocals with catchy melodies to produce hit songs.
Baby, I get you plenty money, I will buy you all you wanting. Baby, follow me, go see mommy. Girl, yeah, all I want some more.
On the other hand, while Davido lacked the vocal ability that Wizkid had, his energetic delivery and usage of danceable beats was enough to continuously release hit after hit.
Shake me! I the river, but I no be fisherman. But I want to catch this fish.
However, this difference in musical approach, along with their enormous fame, ever-itchy tabloids, and huge fan bases set the stage for what will be an eternal rivalry that still exists till today. The first manifestation of their perceived rivalry came on July 28, 2014, and it all started with a seemingly harmless tweet, "Proper show, proper venues" by Wizkid, fresh off his New York show. Now, while this could have been interpreted as Wizkid making a comment about his latest shows, it could just as easily have been a jab at Davido. You see, just months before Wizkid's New York show, Davido had his own New York show, so to him, Wizkid was calling for war, and he reacted accordingly, accusing Wizkid of attacking his accomplishments. But if you think about it, Davido wasn't the only Nigerian artist to have done a New York show around that time. So why did he think the tweet was referring to him?
Make sure you come to my show, proper venue. We do real shows, we do this show. I'm like, come on, man. If I was not on that plane, I wouldn't have cared. But the fact that we were on that same plane, in the same cabin, and we spoke, that's actually the first time I know, say, okay, this dude either doesn't like me, or somebody with him doesn't like me and he's feeling something.
Yet from here on out, the battle line was drawn. Fans on both sides would regularly engage in online battles, each trying to better the other, but nobody really won the war. But then, their war suffered a major setback when both artists decided to sue for peace, at least for some time. Things even got as good as sharing a stage at an Afrobeats event hosted by Remy Martins in 2015, and fans could only wonder if a musical collaboration was in the works, as if we were in a movie. Anyway, things took the usual turn after Wizkid released his 2017 album, Sounds from the Other Side. But this time, it was Davido at the center of it with a kind of unclear Snapchat post that labeled the album as Pon Pon Sounds. Wizkid was fuming, and he wanted to get back at Davido, so he went in on him, calling him a failed artist that lacked talent and was jealous of other people's success. Success which Wizkid felt Davido had only achieved at a local level. But Davido had something to say about that in his song titled Summer Body, where he talked about some people calling him local despite his foreign passport. Still, the best part of this episode was in Wizkid's tweet that mocked Davido's voice as no better than a frog's. You'd expect Davido to maybe drop his own comeback line. Instead, he just went ahead to make a custom frog head ice necklace out of it. That seemed to settle things for now. Then in November 2017, the hatred reached its peak, as both stars fought it out physically. And no, it wasn't some organized boxing event. It was at the One Africa Music Festival in Dubai, after a night of African music that saw some of Africa's biggest stars perform. What started out as a musical night turned into a fist fight soon enough, but the reason for the fight was even more shocking than two artists engaging in a fist fight on a music night in Dubai. Apparently, the organizers of the event made Wizkid perform before Davido, and that didn't sit well with him and his camp. But they seemed to maintain their calm until after the event when one of Davido's boys punched Wizkid in the face. At what point, things erupted into total violence as everyone tried to land a punch. Since then, the fight's become one of the most discussed subjects on the internet and social media outlets, and both their fan bases only kept making matters worse. Wizkid FC and 30BG never missed a chance to be at each other's throats. When both groups weren't throwing shades at each other, they were comparing achievements, each fan base trying to present their patron as the better of the two artists. However, as was the case in their bittersweet relationship, they reconciled soon enough, and even shared a stage together various times. The first was at Davido's 30BG concert, then at Wizkid's homecoming concert. But the biggest indication that the duo were now on good terms was when they performed Davido's song, Fire, on stage together in front of a packed Echo Convention Center. It was surreal. Finally, fans had what they had always hoped for. Well, maybe not. Despite officially ending their beef, both fans just couldn't accept it. Every day on Twitter, NG was a battle between Wizkid FC and 30BG. It never stopped. From achievements to awards, international collaborations, or even their net worths, fans went to just about any length to prove who was better. It was a battle of the Ronaldo versus Messi level, and if we've learned anything over the years, it's that such battles naturally have no winner. So despite the two actually trying to maintain a cordial relationship, as can be seen in their pictures together in the years after the big reconciliation, you just know it's never going to be permanent. But at least let's enjoy the period of calm, which saw Davido congratulate Wizkid on a successful O2 Arena concert, and Wizkid offer his congratulations to Davido and Kioma after the birth of their child. That worked out well, until Davido just had to stir things up in an interview with Ebuka, where he sort of shifts the blame for their fights.
It's my brother, but like, there's really a problem.
Yeah.
That we need to fix.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to go.
Have you tried?
I've tried, man. I've tried. Starboy and 30BG were meant to sit down and have a general meeting and sort every problem possible. It didn't happen. We meant to do an album, tour, blah, 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 blah. So just but I keep saying, the problem no be for me.
Wizkid probably saw this and decided to snub the congratulatory message Davido sent him on the release of his album Made in Lagos. Despite Davido actually going all out to congratulate him, where he posted a picture of Wizkid captioned "Congrats King," Wizkid absolutely snubbed him. Their beef was officially back on, and the fans as usual were there to fuel it. One of such occasions happened when Wizkid didn't wish Davido on his birthday in 2021. Some Davido fans went as far as calling Wizkid toxic, but Wizkid FC were having none of that. They came to his defense with claims that Wizkid doesn't even wish himself, so maybe birthdays aren't really a thing for him. The back and forth was something everyone was used to, as both fan bases were always out for blood. If Wizkid wins an award, his fans blow his trumpet and mock Davido, and the same with Davido's fans. It was a never-ending cycle. But then, disaster strikes. Davido loses his son in a swimming pool accident, and everyone's empathetic with him. Even his longtime enemy, Wizkid, comes out to offer condolences to Davido, even pushing back the release of his latest album, Much Love, Less Ego, by a week. Just like the title of the album, Wizkid was showing more love and not allowing his ego to take over, even when it concerned someone he had fought for quite some time. This gesture was all we needed to see Davido and Wizkid share the stage once again. And as Wizkid announced on the 18th of January last year, he and Davido were going on tour. Just think of that! Two of Nigeria's biggest artists on tour together. The crowd's going to be absolutely mental. Even though everyone kind of expected a little cool-off after Wizkid's gesture, it wasn't of this magnitude. This was more than a cool-off. It was a partnership, a really big one. Their newfound cordial relationship was the last thing anyone would expect, but it was a good thing. The best part of their friendship was on display in December 2023, as they both partied together at a club in Lagos. Instantly, the video went viral on social media. Everyone was talking about it. In the midst of the dancing and partying, an interesting exchange took place. Wizkid said something and Davido reacted in kind. They exchanged hugs, indicating a camaraderie that seemed to transcend past rivalries. The climax was when they grooved out to Davido's popular song Feel, leaping up and down in unison. To many, this was a sign of things to come. But that's where people get it wrong with this duo all the time. And if there's something we've learned in their relationship, it's that things aren't always as they seem. All that newfound love would soon be lost on April 24th, 2024. What began as Wizkid interacting with his fans would soon turn into an all-out war. As Wizkid continued interacting with fans, a fan asked him to bless us with some new music. But instead of a simple answer, Wizkid chose to unleash chaos on a Friday morning. You remember that embarrassing video of Davido begging and crying that went viral? That's what Wizkid replied the fan with, asking him to beg him like that. Talk about adding salt to injury. Naturally, Davido wasn't about to let that slide. He took to Twitter later that day, claiming that the streets no longer resonated with Wizkid's music, which may be in part true. But wait, there's more. Wizkid, feeling in the mood for a little morning violence, fired back with a scathing reply. He called Peruzzi, one of Davido's signees, a pant washer. And as if that wasn't enough, he had the nerve to say that the entire 30BG crew, including Davido, couldn't hold a candle to him in music. The audacity! Every time it seemed like the violence would end, it just kept getting so much worse. The exchange of insults continued to escalate, and without holding back, Wizkid described Davido as a delusional person, and in return, Davido called him a sick man. It was like a verbal boxing match, and the hits just kept on coming. Yet the icing on the cake came when Wizkid delivered a left hook to Davido by posting that embarrassing crying video of Davido again. And if you remember the story behind that video, you'll know Davido must have been fuming when he saw it. However, there was only so much he could do. He dropped his last post where he tried to be the mature one. He had nothing to say to Wizkid, and to him, the insults from Wizkid were not enough reason for him to risk his lucrative endorsement deals, especially for someone whose career, in Davido's words, was dead and buried. Talk about a huge comeback. Hold on though, because the fans weren't about to miss out on this battle royale. Fans on either side came out to defend their beloved almost as if they've been waiting for the right moment. Who wants fake hugs, photo ops, or even shared stages when you can have pure, undiluted violence? And boy, did they get what they wanted. With Davido taking a dig at Wizkid's height, calling him a 4-foot man who shops for shoes in the kids section. Damn, that's gonna leave a mark. And just then, Wizkid dared Davido to drop a solo song. At least, maybe we'll see some diss tracks soon enough. But who will come out on top? Well, only time will tell. But first, let's see some diss tracks.